right, to trust yourself. And when I did ask all these photographers what their favorite was, there were a few photographers that refused to answer, and they said, I cannot choose one photo from this book because the book itself is the masterpiece. But one photographer said, basically, it showed me that there are no boundaries in life. And I think that's really an important aspect of things, is that when we have all these rules and regulations, when we go to school for photography, I mean, these guys did not go to school for photography. You're imposed with certain things that you are the right way to do things. And obviously, that's not the right way to do things. It's a trap in some ways. And so when you free yourself from these things, which Robert Frank is one example of, one artist that did that, it shows you unlimited possibilities of things. So just really trust yourself, listen to yourself when you're going out and taking pictures, photography. Most people, photographers here, you go out alone or with your friend, and you walk around and you take pictures. You find things. You find the external world, how it reflects something in your internal life, and I think that's why we pick up cameras. We really are not, for the most part, trying to save the world with photographs, but really trying to describe how we feel about life, finding these things in the world, and shooting. And I think Robert Frank, one example of someone very brave who did that when this kind of work was totally rejected. So, I mean, there is a cult following. I think he's, one of the 5 greatest photographers, and did things that weren't done before.
He had big influence on Dutch photography.
Japanese photography.
And Japanese photography.
Maybe you can say a few words about your work and your project in Middle East, and the reason why you're here in Turkey.
Well, I'm a photographer myself, and for 25 years, and working on personal projects. I really just very focused to do what I want to do and make that work. I have a book that I lived in Russia for a long time, for 10 years, in 1990s, and I have a book called Wonderland from that time. And I'm here in Turkey to work on a project, a similar project, but in the geographical location known to the Greeks, which is Turkey and from Afghanistan all the way to Morocco. And they're working on a project called the Black Garden, Karabache. And it's really not about anything or about everything. And it's really about finding myself in this part of the world. And I'm just shooting, basically. I have 300 rolls of film that I'm developing now. And that was shot over the last year or so. So it's totally open-ended for me. I just go where I want and shoot, try to make money, selling my book and other things with the photo festival. We have, again, the Bursa Photo Festival coming in September. I'm curating the international part of that. So I'm working within the community and just trying to live and survive very simply and not get trapped into the system too much, I think. And so I'm here. And very nice to share sort of this community thing that we have. And
I like that when you were explaining the idea that was like his take on it, that the exposure darker, because that's how he wants to represent it and put himself into it. That kind of, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, the book is a kind of a dark view of America.
Yeah.
But 50 years later, the scene actually has a more truthful picture of America than they saw it back then.
Yeah, he just comes across as very human, like really humble.
Yeah.
Like all the way at the end when he was talking, It's like even his silences were like weighted with the truth,
Yeah, he's a very thoughtful person, and he's just talking from his heart, just shooting, trusting himself. I think that's the main part. He's very humble, and his apartment, he lives the same way he lived 50 years ago in this apartment, which is, when I sat down on the couch, dust came up, and he was sitting there in his socks, and he was just like sitting, and it was just amazing. It was like, actually for me, it was like meeting Picasso. It was like sitting across from Picasso, and anything that he said was like gold. And then I have this, this is what I'm doing in tribute to Robert Frank, because when I was working at the museum, I was asking all my colleagues what their favorite image was, and then collected about 300 names, and then the explanations, and I showed that to him, and he was like, really taken by it. So we're going to publish this in May, April, May, I think, and, in Turkish, and hopefully bring the Americans here. And we're trying actually to get Robert Frank to come to Brussels.
So for people who don't know about our Genç Fotoğraf Initiative, just a few words. So it's the second not conference, but
Gathering.
that we do here. For those who want more explanation, we can talk afterward. So it was the first real run with Jason, so thank you very much for that. And for people who don't know, just we're trying to organize exhibition every 2 months with foreign photographers, but also Turkish photographers, and we're trying to support, in general, the Turkish photography, young photography, because it's very difficult here in Turkey to be a young photographer. So, but thank you for everyone, and hope to see you another time for another one.